It's high on the list of priorities for most businesses, but low on the list of achievements. What is it? Digital transformation. Welcome to this BVTV Trilogy, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. Daily, my inbox is filled with pitches or offers to digitally transform BVTV. They usually promise that the change will be good for my business and that they boast the latest in technology to achieve that. In this trilogy, we're going to take a different perspective on digital transformation to one that can and does achieve success. Let's meet the author of this book. Here we go. This book, Stuck. I love it. I love the title. How to Win at Work by Understanding Loss. Welcome, Dr. Victoria Grady. Hello, Victoria.
Hi, Malcolm. How are you? Thank you so much for hosting me today.
I'm delighted because I've been enjoying the book, and I will tell people. I know I shouldn't, but we did a little quiz before we started about what I like about the book. I'm not going to tell anybody how you scored, you know. Victoria, we all know that digital transformation is essential these days. It can't be avoided if you want your business to survive and grow. And growth is important. So why does the change fail so often? What's your thinking on refocusing on people, not tech?
Malcolm, I think that's such a good question. And I think there's so much to that question. So the first thing that I'll say is that I think that we have to understand what change failure means, right? We hear all kinds of statistics and notes about change failure rates. And I think it's important to understand that change failure looks very different inside of different organizations, right? It could be a missed budget. It could be, that the change implementation process takes too long. It could be that the functionality in the tech world does not do what it promised, or it isn't as easy to use as maybe we thought. So I think first and foremost, it's important to understand, what does that even mean, change failure, and how do we set the benchmarks for accurately measuring what that change is supposed to do for our organization in terms of making it more efficient or effective, or even perform better or be more productive. So I think that's the first thing, is to understand what that means, change failure. The second thing, question that you ask is around what you're thinking on refocusing people, not tech. I think it's really interesting that a lot of times we tend to believe that if we bring it, the people will just come, right? I think that was in a movie. If we build it, they will come, right? What was that movie? Field of Dreams, I believe. Well, actually, I don't think people will always just come, right? And if they come, they may not stay. And what we want them to do is be sure that they stay. And by stay, I mean integrate the technology into their daily work process, right? And technology is a hard one. When I saw the questions for today, I thought back to a scenario that I had working with a brigadier general in the United States Army, who was transitioning from Lotus Notes. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, yes. I can go that far, yes.
Yeah, me too. Let's not talk about that. So Lotus Notes to Microsoft Excel. And I was working with a training company at the time, and he was a member of the class, moving from Lotus Notes to Microsoft Excel. And he was so frustrated. And my perception of him, he was in uniform, in the training class, was like in awe. And as we progressed through the couple of days of training, I saw a side of him that I would not have anticipated. He was super frustrated, very anxious, just not enjoying the training process. And so at one of the breaks, I asked him if we could chat just a little bit, because I was just so curious. What is it that is so disruptive to you? And he said, Victoria, it really doesn't have anything to do with the technology. This has everything to do with how my job is going to change because of this technology. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, going from Lotus to Excel is stage one. What we're going to do next is integrate from WordPerfect to Word. And then when we make the transition to Word, my staff assistant is no longer going to work with me. I'm going to be responsible for my own notes, for typing my own information, recording my own letters, etc. So what I'm really frustrated about is the anticipation of how I'm going to be able to efficiently and effectively use this technology to do my job, right? I'm not going to have a staff assistant anymore. I've never not had a staff assistant. I don't even know what to think about how to work in the space without a staff assistant. And that was a light bulb that went off for me, that I very quickly understood that when we are understanding change, especially technology change, it may not be about the technology at all that we need to address. But it may be about more what's going on beneath the surface and how the technology change is going to impact my day-to-day work tasks. This scenario, Malcolm, was 20 years ago, but it is no different yesterday in terms of how technology is impacting our jobs and the way we integrate with the work tasks. So I think that we are even becoming more dependent on making sure that we address the human side of whatever is changing inside of our organizations, be it technology, be it leadership, be it business process, be it we're going to a hybrid work format, right? We're not going to be seeing our colleagues at the office every day anymore. I think it's really important to understand that beneath the surface perspective, and that it may not be about the change at all. It may, or that what you think it is about the change, it may be about something that's related, but not obvious. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense, Victoria, because if we go back to March 2020, when lockdown started and we started to ramp up our BVTV, and we were talking to CEOs and that around the world. So many of them didn't want to be on camera unless they had a PA person on one side and a techie person on the other, because they've just been used to sending out emails from their corner office, and suddenly they're having to talk to people. And it was that bit they were frightened about, not so much the technology of using Zoom and everything, but actually communicating with somebody virtually.
Right. I mean, we had to change the way all of us, right? Globally, this isn't unique to any aspect of the world. We all had to change the way we interacted with our workplaces on a scale that I don't think, at least I had ever even considered was possible. So I think it was totally shocking. I hear you. In March of 2020. So
I'm with you entirely. Now, thanks, Victoria. Let's give viewers and listeners details of your URL, your website address, which obviously viewers you can see on the screen behind me. But for listeners, let me spell it out. It's all the W's dot pivot, PIVOT, PNT. So pivotpnt.com. Now, Victoria's book, this one, is co-authored with Dr. Patrick McCreish, and it's called Stuck: How to Win at Work by Understanding Loss, and it's published by Routledge Taylor and Francis Group. In episode 2, I want to explore with Victoria more about her thinking on stuck, the whys and the hows. So can we go there, Victoria?
Yeah, that sounds great. I look forward to it, Malcolm.